everyone, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums. A little while ago when I received this stamp set from Not Too Shabby as a design team member, I realized that the Mad Hatter could also look like a leprechaun with a little bit of changes. So I'm going to color him using my markers, my alcohol ink markers. Just real simple coloring. I'm doing a green hat, beige face, and green sleeves, gold tie, I think orange hair, because that's pretty Irish, huh? Not orange, but red hair. And then he's sitting in a teacup in this image, but when I cut him out, I'm going to cut the teacup out, so I'm not even going to color that. So I'm going to get the coloring done and then move on. Now, every leprechaun needs to find that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and I don't have a die for a pot. I mean, look through your Halloween stash and see what you have. But I just sort of made one using circles and ovals. It's not the straightest, but by the time you're all done with it, it's not going to matter too much. So I draw a flat oval on the top. My coloring on this is terrible, but again, you'll get the idea that it is a pot of gold, and it's not really the focal point of the card. So, just make something that looks like a kettle, pot of gold, something like that, and it'll turn out. I'm not worried about the inside of the top because we're going to fill it up with gold. So just again, doing some very basic coloring using different shades of gray and trying to keep a little area that's highlighted and just getting this a little more dimensional. And I am going to cut it out so there's an area on the sides that does not look equal and it's a little askew on the card, or on the paper, but it'll be fine by the time I'm all done. All right, so I've cut some ovals with the detail on the edge out of 5 pieces, 6 different colors. Sort of a dark pink, an orange, a yellow, green, a blue, and a purple. And I just wanted a little more interest on those, so I take the heart stamp that is with the Me In Wonderland set and just stamp a bunch of hearts sort of all over the pages. I'm just trying to add just a little bit of texture to the pages. If I had consistent looking polka dot colors, then I would have used that. But I'm taking orange ink and stamping on the orange, taking a blue, stamping on the blue. Some of my inks are lighter, some are darker. I'm using first generation and second generation stamping, meaning I'll stamp once and then stamp a second time to get a lighter image. So that pink, it's a pink. I wanted something bright and cheerful. So the red on top of it sort of faded. It's not the best color, but with everything else, it'll all look good together. In retrospect, I realized I probably I need to work on making rainbows, because there are so many cool rainbow dies and I don't have any, but I could have used some circle dies. But I think it came out okay in spite of not having a rainbow die. Now that one color in the top right hand corner is actually purple, so you will see it better when you see the photographs of the cards. Okay, so in the Me In Wonderland stamp set there was a heart shape and a club shape. So I'm stamping the club in green, and then I'm taking the heart and stamping right on top of it to make it look like a clover. Now you sort of see the image below it, so to cover it up, I'm taking a little bit of paint. I sprayed some water. Not paint, I put some ink on my stamping block, and I'm just coloring this in. I like the white outer layer to this, but I eventually color it in. You'll see on the card. I add some of the yellow just to give it a little more depth and dimension and highlight, and then I fussy cut this out. And that's how I get my shamrock. So I add the shamrock to his hat. It covers that card that's sticking in the brim that says 10/6. I add a little ink just to, again, to make some dimension to it. So now I've stacked my rainbow colors, and I drew a line on each one about 1 inch from the widest part, and I'm just cutting them into sort of crescent moon shapes. And I'll start again with that red pink and layer them, trying to get that small part to go over close to the right hand side, and then that purple's on the bottom. I'll go ahead and glue all these on, overlapping them so you don't see my pencil line. And so there's again about maybe 3/4 of an inch showing to each color. And then the last color, that purple, I put on the bottom. And then I cut around the edge. I will go ahead and put it in my paper trimmer. Here we go. Because the blue cardstock was actually too big for the card. So I'm cutting it down here so it'll fit on a card base. That rainbow doesn't look like much, but once you add everything to it, I think it will give it some oomph. So I add my little pot to the end of the rainbow. And yeah, I know it's a little over the edge, but we'll cut it down. In my stash, I have this gold glittery paint. And it's very glittery, so I just add a bunch of it. Then I decide I'll have some sort of coming out of the pot. And then I will add some glue. There's a lot of that glitter paint coming. So I put our leprechaun in the pot, hanging out. I cut off the edge of the pot, add some of the gold glittery stuff to the bottom, but that is not all the gold I'm going to add to this. I go in my stash and I find I have this little envelope of those bigger glitter shapes. They're not round like I would have liked. They're sort of hexagon, but they're perfect to add in here, and that glittery paint mixture is going to hold it in. These look to me like little coins that can go inside our pot of gold. I'm trying to get the camera to focus so you can see our gold doubloons that are in there, but here's a photograph so you can take a look at it. I have a Happy St. Patrick's Day sentiment in my stash, and I add another shamrock to the top of that sentiment. And there I have a St. Patrick's Day card using the Me In Wonderland set. Thought it was pretty neat to get extra use out of a stamp set. So thank you so much for watching, and have a fabulous day.